Hi BookTube. So it's been quite a while since I filmed any videos, and I think unfortunately that's been my intro to quite a number of videos recently. But this time I think I have a valid excuse. In August I spent the majority of my free time planning a road trip that I took in this month in September. I was gone from September 1st through September 18th. I went from Portland all the way to Wisconsin and back, so I did this like loop through quite a number of states. I spent the majority of the time camping along the way, so it was really nice to be out in the nature and all these different places. So I went from like at the time it was like probably still now is a bunch of wildfires in Idaho and Montana. And so unfortunately I had planned this ahead because it was Labor Day weekend, so I wanted to get these places booked in advance. And so it was kind of like a raining ash situation, especially when I was in Montana. But other than that, I lucked out with really good weather. But yeah, it was interesting to go from like the really, it was like, Pacific Northwest here, but then going to the dry, smoky, like Idaho and Montana, and then through to, the more humid and completely different landscape of like the farming states in the plains to the forested area of Minnesota and Wisconsin. I saw quite a number of places. I might do a whole different video talking about that. I don't think I got many video clips, but I took quite a number of pictures, and I had intended to do like an Instagram like day 1 through 18 or 19, however long this trip was. But quite a few places I stayed at, we didn't have any internet signal, or campgrounds don't provide Wi-Fi for the majority of the places. And so yeah, I did 2 days and then got off the track of doing that. But I need to like go through our photos and at least like do a compilation there on Instagram. Anyway, so yeah, I just been very busy, very busy, and it's been a long time since I took an extended vacation from life and work, and it was much needed. I know at least the last like 5-10 years, I feel like I haven't taken a 2-week plus vacation from work. Most of the time it's like 3 or 4 days here and there. Anyway, so it was a really nice break. I also had a break from my phone. Like I said, no internet, and so it was really nice just to take a step back and just be in nature. And Fable went along for the ride, and she loved it. And I'm surprised because like my last dog, he liked car rides, but if he was in there for a while, like for a long day trip, he did not want to go in it the next day. Whereas Fable, she would jump in the car ahead of us. Like she was like, maybe in the back of her mind, she's like, "Don't leave me, like I'm coming," and or I don't even know what, but it was interesting how she couldn't wait to get back in the car, even if we've been in the car for like 4 or 5 hours. Anyway, all that to be said, today I did a little mini road trip to a town about an hour away from here, and because they were doing a library book sale, and so I got quite a few books. And Fable again went along for the ride. Like we just got back last weekend, and she was ready to go again today because she likes meeting people and seeing the dogs and smelling all the smells as we're going along the way. So anyway, long intro to talk about the books I got at the library book sale, and I got one in particular. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this hasn't been taken yet, because I think the sale has been going on since like Thursday or Friday. So I'll show you that book first. And I literally got a box of books. I'm like, let's see, I'm shuffling around here to get to that one. And I was surprised. This is the one that I was surprised no one has gotten. This is the 30th anniversary edition of The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. And I think this came out like a year or 2 ago. Let me see. 2020. Okay. But yeah, and this retails for $35, and I remember seeing this in the bookstores, and I contemplated spending the money, but I'm like, I don't buy new books. Very, very rarely will I buy a new book, and I already have this one on my shelf. There's way at the top here on this like fantasy bookshelf, I have all of them. But for Eye of the World, I have the Barnes and Noble edition. Maybe it was like the 50th or 20th year. I can't remember. I'll have to show you eventually. I'm not going to get it now. But anyway, so I saw this one, and because it has like the original cover, but it doesn't have the step back like the mass market. The mass market has it like when you open it up, it's a different cover inside, but this just has the map. Is there any pictures in here? I haven't even flipped through this yet of, you know, what makes this a special 30th anniversary edition. Maybe there's like an appendix or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a really nice copy. I cannot believe that it was still sitting there. The only damage is like right here in the little corner. It's not even torn. It's just a little bit bent. Which, I mean, I've ordered books on Amazon where they say like new, and they come with, you know, a little, you know, we have worse condition than this is what I'm saying. So yeah, I was very happy to find this for $1. I couldn't believe it. Okay, so let's go through some more here. I was for sure in the autumn mood and like getting ready for Victober and all like the spooky reads and things like that. And so I picked up The Vampire and Other Tales of the Macabre. It's a world classics book. And I used to collect these when I would see them like in a thrift store and stuff like that. But I don't anymore, but I mean, it's making me want to pick them up again. But this is an Oxford University Press book, and this is a collection of short stories, or, you know, tales by a bunch of different authors. Is there anyone I recognize here? Because I picked up, I was like, oh, I don't recognize any of these names, and so, yeah, they're all like, there's some literally labeled anonymous on here. But it just seems like an interesting short story collection to pick up. Now, this would be perfect, I feel like, for, I'm not sure if these are all like Victorian authors, but I like reading short stories during readathons because it lets me read a bunch of different authors, and I can just read one a day, and that by the end of the month you've, you know, finished a book. And so this one, let's see, it's by, there's a couple stories by John Polidori, and that's the author of The Vampire. Horace Smith, William Cartland, James Hogg, Catherine Gore. Yeah, I don't recognize any of these authors, but let me know if you've heard of any of these. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being introduced to them. This is an author I do recognize. This is R.L. Stein's Goosebumps. Be careful what you wish for, and this is number 12. My boyfriend has his collection from when he was a child of Goosebumps and Fear Street. So I saw this, it's in really good condition. And for $1, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll pick this up. Maybe he has it, I don't know. But either way, I was like, you know, I could read a couple Goosebumps books in October. And then I have Mrs. Piggle Wiggle by Betty McDonald. I've already listened to this one on audiobook because I didn't start reading Mrs. Piggle Wiggle for this author. I started reading her memoir collections and it series, and it starts with The Egg and I. There's like Plague and I, and I can't remember all the names, but it's like a 5 or 6 book series, and I really love those. But she's also for children. I feel like she's more known for Mrs. Piggle Wiggle, and so I listened to this one, but my library didn't have an ebook copy, so I saw this and I was like, okay, I will happily read it again, because she's, at least her memoirs are full of humor, and these seem to be as well. I've only listened to the first one, so looking forward to that. Speaking of Victober, I have The Portable Victorian Reader, and this is edited by Gordon S. Haight. And this is a Penguin book, and let's see, it's an anthology. Let's see who some of these authors are. George Eliot. There's actually a, it says the author's Queen Victoria. It's like Victoria becomes queen, so maybe like a speech or something she gave, I'm not sure. Charles Dickens is in here, Thomas Carlyle. Anyone else I recognize here? But yeah, there's a bunch of authors in here as well that I have never heard of, so I am greatly looking forward to getting into this. And so I might get to hopefully both in Victober. And so this is, the part 1 is the two nations, the rich, and the second section is Reformation, parliamentary reform, the evangelicals, the agnostics, education, science in Victorian times, history, arts, and letters. So yeah, there's a whole compilation here of all sorts. And it seems to be not just short stories, because it's also talking about nonfiction. So this will be a really interesting anthology to get to. And these are books I've never heard of. And so, yeah. Let's see. I have, like, switching gears there, I have a cozy mystery. This is Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander. And I've read a few books by her. And this, it has a skull on the bakery box there. And I've heard of this series, and I've always wanted to pick it up. And it's like a donut series. Is there the Bake Shop Mystery? I'm not sure if the donut books I've seen talked about if they're a part of this mystery series or if it's a different baking series that she has. But anyway, this one looks like a lot of fun. Classic Cowboy Stories, 18 Extraordinary Tales of the Old West. This is edited by Michael McCoy. And this, I remember reading the back of this, and it was talking about, I think, how it has fiction and nonfiction as well in here. But it has contributions from Theodore Roosevelt, Bill Nye, Zane Grey, Owen Wister. Yeah, a bunch of different authors. And so yeah, this looks fun. I'm going to save this for June on the Range for next year. I saw this and I had to get this one. It's the Golden Book, A Guide to Field Identification Birds of North America. And I checked this out from the library as an ebook, but I've always wanted a physical copy because there's tons. I mean, not so much for like the text here of like all of the identifications. I mean, it would be nice in a way. I don't know. To like start bird watching, I don't know, because I feel like the people are really into that. But it would be interesting to learn more about these, you know, what regions they're in and the different markings that identify, you know, different species. But anyway, I got it mostly for the illustrations, just to flip through it because they're just gorgeous. I have Season of the Dragonflies by Sarah Creech. And I got this because, let's see, yeah, it's like kind of like buzzwords for me that I really liked. It was like hidden in the quiet rolling hills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. There are perfumery guards, unique and mysterious ingredients. Okay, a secret known only to select clientele of movie stars, politicians, artists, and CEOs. The Noir's signature elixir is the key to success for the world's most powerful women. So it's set in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it's about women operating a business. It's kind of like perfumery. So anyway, the Blue Ridge Mountains, that's like the buzzword for me because I love that region and any book set in that area. Let's see, I have The Private World of Georgette Heyer, a biography by Jane Aiken Hodge. And I have been meaning to read for Autumn Moore my Georgette Heyer books, or Hare. I have quite a few over here. I have like, I don't know, 5 or 6. But I saw a biography. I was like, okay, oh, perfect. I need to read those and the biography. I have Siesta Lane, One Cabin, No Running Water, and a Year Living Green by Amy Minato. And the One Cabin, No Running Water, that whole part, I was like, oh, I love that kind of story in memoir. And so I, for sure, like, snatched that one up right away. It says, she abandoned a life of consumption for 1 year. Let's see, she moved from the from the streets of Chicago to a quieter, slower, simpler, and more natural existence in the countryside of Oregon. Okay. Siesta Lane became her very own Walden Pond. So I'll have to see, like, dig around and see if she lists the exact region of Oregon, and maybe I could visit it if it's nearby. Going back to the spookier books, I have The Dark 30, Southern Tales of the Supernatural. This is by Patricia C. McKizzak, and it's illustrated by Brian Pinkney. And this is a children's book that has tales, spooky tales, filled with illustrations. See, this looks like lots of fun. And I guess I was just in the mood for anthologies and short stories. So yeah, there's that one. And it won it was a Newbery Honor book. And it was also, what does this one say? I've seen this symbol before, but it's like really hard for me to... Scott King Award? What does it say? I can't read that first word, but I'm sure some of you recognize that symbol here. Nature Noir, a park ranger's patrol in the Sierra by Jordan Fisher Smith. Let's see, and this one, it's the original story. So the first, I didn't even read the full description. I read the first sentence. I was like, ooh. It says, Nature Noir is the intensely original story, part Edward Abbey, part James Elroy. And so that right there, I didn't read anything else. I was like, because I like both of those authors. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be picking this one up. So yeah, it's like park rangers, you know, stories of patrolling. So yeah. And I'm not sure if I ever talked about these books, because I've been so remiss on making booktube videos, but over the summer, I read and bought Let's Go for a Ride, The Wildlife of Maine's Longest Tenured Undercover Game Warden by William Levitsky and Darren Worcester. And then I also read, because Darren Worcester helped edit this, and so I saw he had a book, Open Season True Stories of the Maine Warden Service. And so I feel like this kind of ties in, the Sierra Mountains of California kind of ties in with these Maine books. But yeah, these were really fun and interesting, because this one, it was like a new book that came out this year, and this caught my eye because of the mystery series I've been reading by Paul Dorian, the Mike Bowditch series about a game warden in Maine. And so the next one I have is Pilgrims Wilderness, a true story of faith in madness on the Alaska frontier by Tom Kizia. I love Alaskan books, and so this one was about, like, I think they're like homesteading or something in Alaska. And I was like, ooh, okay, yeah, again, kind of like with this one of, like, you know, living on your own out in the wilderness. I love that kind of thing. And so this one says, Into the Wild meets Helter Skelter in this riveting true story of a modern-day homesteading family in the deepest reaches of the Alaskan wilderness and of the chilling secrets of its maniacal, spellbinding patriarch. So I wonder who's, like, the evil guy's going to be. But yeah, I'm excited to find out. I have quite a few Alaskan books. I need to really organize this shelf because I have a lot of books, like, set in the West, set in specific regions, and I would like to organize it by region. I have quite a few bird books and dog books, so if I just, like, because these are all, like, this is a whole thing is, like, is nonfiction, but it'd be nice to, you know, break it down even more. So then, like, when, like, winter comes, I love reading books set in Alaska during that time. I could just, like, you know, have them right there at my fingertips. And this last book is the collector's books. They call it the Collector's Book of Children's Books by Eric Kukryle. And this one was super interesting to me because of all of the pictures in here, and it's kind of heavy, but it's all about, like, classic books of the time with text as well in there. So yeah, this one just looks really interesting to read about, because I know there's, like, I've seen in the bookstores, you know, whole sections on, like, the history of children's books. I've seen one in particular I really want to get is the history of golden books, something like that. It looked really interesting, and so this book might prompt me to go in search of that one. But yeah, I feel like it came out a few years ago, and I was like, oh, that looked really interesting. So maybe by now it'll be on sale at a good price. But anyway, these are all the books I found at the library book sale. And that's another thing I would like to do is I've seen people do vlogs of free library, like, walking tours. And there is quite a number of free libraries here. I mean, I could make, I don't need to buy any books. I could just, like, constantly exchange the books I currently have with the little free libraries and do just fine with those. But anyway, sorry for the rambling video. I just feel like I haven't talked to you in a while, and it'd be nice to, like, to put all my current, like, rambly thoughts in my brain at the moment. But yeah. I'm for sure going to do another video soon on the books I'm currently reading. I am for sure getting in the fall mood. I have my favorite, like, Halloween shirt here. You can't see the full thing, but there's like pumpkins and cats and spiders on the shirt. But yeah, I'm all in the pumpkin spice mood. I've gotten my pumpkin spice drink of the year. I tend to just get one or two. I'm not, like, really fanatical about it, but I've been doing lots of baking, and I've been making, like, soups and stews and curries and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, maybe I can do, like, a cooking. I've always like seen people talk about and do videos of I've seen people do videos of them, you know, reading books and cooking as well, and so I would really like to I'd like to get back into vlogging at least like once a month would be nice, like maybe like a weekend vlog, but also like show some cooking, because I really like, especially baking, that's my thing, and I feel like the fall season would be the perfect time to do some of that. And so yeah, like, you know, share some recipes, and because I love like hunting, like I'll find one kind of like with authors with cookbooks, I'll find one, like one recipe, whatever, and then it'll like spin me off from there to a bunch of different recipes to try out. And so maybe it'd be fun to share that. So let me know if you'd be interested in that kind of thing. But anyway, I'll let you go, and I'll just like stop the rambling so I can sort my books. And yeah, I'm happy I found these. So yeah, I'm also happy to be back on BookTube. Hopefully for good this time. My goodness. I don't have any big plans coming up, at least for the foreseeable future, because that long trip was, you know, set me up good for quite a while. So I will talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.